Hi, my name is Alex Schecter. I play the narrator in Anne Frank, a musical, off-Broadway, directed by David Serero. To be a part of this production has been an incredible experience. As a Jewish person myself, it's been so amazing to help tell the story of Anne Frank and share that story with people who may not have known it before. The role that I play is interesting because I am the only character in the show who was not in the annex with Anne Frank and those families. I am kind of looking on and watching the ongoings of what's happening in the attic, and I commentate on the ongoings throughout the show and serve as kind of a bridge between Anne Frank in 1942 through 1944 and 2019 today. Because there are a lot of parallels going on with what went on then and what's going on now, and so I think it's important to never forget and to remember that this thing happened 80 years ago and it could happen again. And I think something important to take from the show is to learn from what happened and to make sure that nothing like that ever happens again. It's been absolutely amazing to work with such an incredible group of people, director, producer David Serero, the incredible musicians, the incredible vocalists who are also musicians, that there's a future for this show because the music is beautiful and the story is beautiful, and we've all enjoyed it very much.
I'm Zoe Hassman, a cellist. David Serero kindly called me for this amazingly creative and compelling production. I feel very honored to be a part of it. The music is amazing, touching, and soulful, and of course the story is something that is living on for all times to remind us what kind of human beings we should be. And David brings to all of us something very special, as the wonderful composer does also. I've had, luckily, a lot of experience playing in different productions. This is a special production for me to be part of. I'm very grateful to David, and I have had the pleasure of playing with the other musician, only two of us, the pianist Kent Dennis. So it's been a special, very special production for me. I am a Jew, I have Russian background, and this has particularly great meaning for me, and I'm particularly aware of the environment in which we live today. So David's passion and foresight in bringing this to us is something not only for us who are part of the ensemble, but to the public. And I hope this goes on as long as David wants it to. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Emily Samuelson. I am the soloist and the Anne Frank understudy in Anne Frank, a musical. This show, I think for all of us, is beshert, which means meant to be. We have come here and have created something so meaningful and so important in history, in this section of our time, going through everything that the world is going through. This story never fades. It'll last through the test of time, and there's always something we can learn. And so that, the Diary of Anne Frank, plus the beauty of this music, our first rehearsal day, listening to these songs, we were all so touched and so moved, and we had barely even created art yet, barely even made any sounds, and we were just so touched because that's the value of this story. And I'm so, so thankful as a Jewish American to be a part of it.
My name is Erik Contzius. I had the honor and privilege of playing Fritz Pfeiffer. And this was a very unique experience for me because before I became a full-fledged actor, I was working as a Jewish cantor. And to be a part of the Anne Frank story, especially in this musical form, as a Jewish educator and now as a performer, was really a beautiful experience. The music by Jean-Pierre Hadida is inspiring. It's a new take on the story. We can't change history, but with this work, I think we're going to change future. It was a pleasure to work with David Serero and his talent as an artistic director and as a colleague as an actor. And the actors all were superlative professionals, which is really a tremendous thing. This work deserves only the highest level of professionalism. And I only wish that more people can experience this in this country the way that they have in France and hopefully throughout the world.
Hi, my name is Jacob Waid. I play Herman von Pels in the incredible production of Anne Frank the Musical, produced and directed by David Serero. This was a pretty indescribable experience for me, specifically in reference to someone who grew up without really any knowledge of Jewish culture or tradition and a very vague knowledge of the details of this family. So being involved in this production and getting to explore Anne's history and Herman's history and Augusta and all the incredible people who are living through this production was amazing to me. I learned things I had no idea. I experienced things I had no idea. I felt connected to these people, specifically to the man that I was representing, someone who was real, someone who suffered, someone who unfortunately was taken and wasn't able to have a voice to describe how terrible the things were. And so it's an honor and a joy for me to be able to represent that man, to represent Jewish heritage and Jewish culture, and to stand proud in unison with the Jewish people who suffered and the people of all peoples who are still suffering today, to make sure something of this level, this atrocity, never happens again.
Hi, my name is Jordan Flippo, and I play the role of Meep in Anne Frank Musical. I am so honored to be in this musical as my off-Broadway debut, and I'm so honored at 19 to be able to join this cast off-Broadway and to bring this show to the United States. And truly, it was such a blessing to be able to originate a role for this musical, adapted into English for the first time in the US premiere. And the first time that I was learning the music was surreal to me and sort of indescribable, because I have been a lover of musical theater for my entire life practically, and then to hear The Diary of Anne Frank put to music was an entirely different perspective for me. I was in a production of The Diary of Anne Frank when I was in high school, and to be able to do a musical of it gave me this incredible perspective that I think is not given without the music. One of my favorite quotes is, "We sing what we cannot say," and I think that is hugely prominent in this musical. And so I am so honored and so blessed to have been touched by the music, and I hope that we do the same to our audience each night.
Hello, my name is Mackenzie Tank, playing Augusta von Pels. It has been an absolute honor to be in this production of Anne Frank. To prepare for it, I read the diary and learned all about Augusta von Pels, and trying to play her was a challenge, and I feel like I gained so much because this was the first time I ever played someone who existed in real life, and I hope to respect and honor her life as much as possible. And being able to be in this production, and its first production in English in America, is absolutely incredible, and to be able to develop this character in English. And thanks to David Serero for letting me be a part of it. It's been absolutely amazing, and being able to sing this music is just gorgeous, and I'm just really happy and honored.
Hi, my name is Sarakate Coyne, and I'm playing Margot Frank in Anne Frank the Musical. This means the world to me because it's the first time I've ever played a character who existed in real life, so it's a real honor to be portraying someone, especially someone with as much courage and intelligence as Margot Frank had. And it's a real honor to be a part of an amazing cast of spectacular singers and musicians and director David Serero. This is really a dream come true, and the music is beautiful, and I think it's a side of the story that no one has really seen before, so I think people are really going to enjoy it.
Hi, I'm Wendell Hester, and I played the part Peter von Pels in Anne Frank the Musical. I just moved up to New York this past year, and I have been so honored to have been cast in my first professional production here by David, and I could not have asked for anything else. To have looked into Peter's life in the annex and before was honestly something I took value for, because what he went through and everything, to see what he lived through, was something that hopefully no one else will have to go through. And the opportunity that I've been given to perform this and put this out on stage for everyone to see has really been the opportunity of a lifetime. And I'm just so glad I could be given this chance for my first production here in New York.
Hi, my name is Lisa Monde, and I was playing Edith Frank in this production of Anne Frank the Musical. It was a very exciting experience. I've always dreamed to be in a French musical, and better yet, a French musical translated into English, which premieres off Broadway. So it was definitely a dream come true to be telling such a touching and amazing story that definitely makes a difference in people's lives, and to be dealing with such amazing music and musical material by Jean-Pierre Hadida, and of course working with the talented and amazing David Serero. This is our second show together, and I hope there will be many more to come.
Hi, my name is Krystin Vario. I was playing the role of Anne Frank in this production of Anne Frank the Musical. I'm very excited to have made my first professional off-Broadway debut here with producer, director, and lead actor, David Serero. It's been an amazing process getting to work with him on the performance side, because I did actually start as his tech and was discovered purely by chance. And luckily for me, I was able to be a part of this incredible production where I learned so much as an actress, as a performer, and so much history about Anne Frank and her life. And it's been a really beautiful thing to be a part of, is telling Anne Frank's story. In learning her part, I've been reading her diary and reading everything I can about her, and I feel like I've come to know her in a very personal way, and I feel like what better way to tell her story than through this musical, and I am so honored to have been a part of it and to be able to tell her story in such a powerful and moving and musically brilliant way.
I'm Jean-Pierre Hadida. I'm a lyricist and composer of Anne Frank, a musical. And I was very inspired by the story of Anne Frank, this wonderful young woman. She was only 13 when she started to write, and she was so involved in the life and the way she wanted to tell the story of a young girl hidden in a attic and staying the same, always a young girl becoming a woman, a real woman. And it's a treasure, and I think a treasure like this needs a sound. I wanted to hear the sound of the 40s. I wanted to hear the noise of those people, the whisper between adults and between young, the little romance between two teenagers in this very, very dramatic situation. And one day I put my finger on the piano and some notes came under my finger, and that were the bells of Amsterdam. And this carry on, those bells sound to me, that was the start, the beginning of my inspiration. And after the words, the lyrics were in French first. That was the song, My Name is Anne. That was Je m'appelle Anne. I was lucky to have Dylan Hadida who translated in English. And after several years in France, where we played in a nice production with my dear Francine Dizeni, we decided to cross the ocean, because it's a myth, America, it's like the dream, the American dream. Even Otto Frank, so that was one part of his dream, he wanted to go there. And unfortunately, they were not strong enough, they were not lucky enough to cross the ocean, and they stay in Holland, where they thought they will be saved, but life decides in another way. So these American dreams became true some days ago, thanks to my dear David Serero, who find a wonderful cast and direct, and with all his heart, those people, and playing a very touching Otto, and that was really beautiful. So I hope that the story of Anne Frank will grow bigger and bigger, will touch all young generation. That's what we put some slam to in that, because that's the language of today. Anne Frank will never die and will be known more and more thanks to music. And don't forget, music is a new universal language. That's why I try modestly to do this work. That is my life. Thank you.
Hello, my name is David Serero. I'm the director and the producer and playing Otto Frank in this American premiere of this amazing musical by my dear friend Jean-Pierre Hadida. The name of that musical is Anne Frank, a musical. I first saw this amazing musical in France in 2008, and I fell instantly in love with that musical, and also in love with Jean-Pierre, who became one of my very dear friend, and of course his partner, the wonderful producer Francine Designy, who has helped to build this production in France and to make it one of the most successful productions. So when they both reach out to me to say, look, we want to cross the Atlantic, we want to bring this musical to America, and it was really my honor to do so and to really design a production and rearrange in a way the musical in order to please the American standards, and more particularly the New York standards. I was very fortunate to meet a wonderful, wonderful cast, all coming from kind of different backgrounds, some new talents, some artists who are making their very own professional debut, and also some artists that I had the pleasure to work before. I had wonderful pianist, Mr. Ken Dennis, wonderful cellist, Lisa Monde, who played Edith Frank, Mackenzie Tank, doing also her debut with us, and of course Krystin, Vario, who used to be one of my technicians, and one day I was told that she's also singing, and I thought, okay, go on stage and sing. And I kept her in mind, and I said, okay, sure, someday I will hire you as a singer, but I didn't know for what yet. And then when the project Anne Frank came, I called her and I said, I want you to do that role. And of course we had auditions, etc., but she's the one that really, really stand out, and she worked really, really wonderfully. We had a lot of wonderful young talents such as Jordan Flippo, Wendell Hester, and one of the greatest baritone that you can find around, Jacob Waid, Erik Contzius, who is also a cantor, so he brought a lot also in his way. Sarakate Coyne, who brought also a lot to this character, and there was also a lot of similarity in the cast, because when you cast someone, it's not just how great the individual is, but it's also how is that individual articulate himself or herself around the rest of the cast. And of course, you know, I was really, really blessed with all these wonderful people. I want to thank my dear friend Jason Guberman and Mr. David Dengour for really pushing and believing that this musical can be possible here at the Center for Jewish History, the American Sephardi Federation, all the staff. I want to particularly thank Mr. Simon and Michal Calfon for their wonderful help and support. And of course, all the people, all the audience who were kind enough to, I would say, promote the show and talk about it. And all the people, the journalists, people of the media who were so kind and giving me a chance to present that show. And I can't wait to present to you the next one, and also to bring Anne Frank musical all across the US and even longer here in New York. So thank you Jean-Pierre Hadida for this amazing music. Thank you Francine Designy for your trust. Thank you Simon and Michal Calfon. Thank you Jason Guberman, David Dengour. Thank you all the cast. I love you all. Thank you.